So, bro, talk to me, man. What's your favorite thing about living here in Thailand?
My favorite thing about Thailand, bro, there's so many different things. It's hard to just, what I'm saying, say one or
Yeah,
narrow it down to one thing.
yeah,
But one thing I really love, and it may seem, small is, but the safety, bro. Like, it feels good being somewhere where you don't have to like look over your shoulder or, if I'm at a coffee shop and I got my laptop out and I want to use the bathroom, I don't have to take my entire
pack
bag
up your
with
whole
me.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the same as, bro. I agree.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so talk to me a bit more about the safety element. Like, how bad was it growing up in the States?
So in America, it's not safe at all, bro. Like there's a lot of homeless people, and I don't think that that's it's not that they're the reason it's not safe, but you have a lot of people who just they don't really have much, so they're willing to do whatever
It
they
takes.
whatever they can to what I'm saying, get some money. So you got people robbing people at gas stations. You got people with guns. You got crazy stuff going on, bro. The United States is it's an interesting place, bro.
Yeah.
It's interesting because like the American dream, I feel like it's a good idea, and like the concept of America is a really good concept and it's smart, but it's almost like people are taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
And
What do you mean?
yeah, well, so the idea that you can come to America and everybody is equal and everybody has the same opportunity as everybody. That's like what it's supposed to be. But it's nowhere near that, you know what I'm saying? Like depending on where you live or depending on who your friends are or depending on, there's so many different circumstances that it plays a factor into, what I'm saying? Like certain people would be able to get a business license quicker than others. You know what I'm saying? Or like if you're a company and you have enough money, you can just go straight to the government, go to one dude and be like, hey, I'll break you off 100K right now. I got a little bill that, what I'm saying, it'll be able to help me make some more money. So let's work something out. And you can do that. So it's just, I don't think it's as fair as it's supposed to be. Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Me personally, I don't really care. Like I know it doesn't sound like okay, but I don't really care just because I know me personally, I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not in like a negative way, but just like I understand that things aren't gonna be fair, and I'm not gonna sit here and complain about it. I'm gonna just work around it and do whatever I got to do to make it happen. But I just know that there's people who aren't like that, and people who are just like maybe like overly honest. So they're like they won't maybe like cut a corner or like take certain risks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
to play it by the book, that it almost hurts them.
yeah, type deal. Like almost like playing it by the book can hurt you.
Yeah.
Even though that's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel you. Is same for you?
In terms of the safety aspect, I would say that like the UK depends, bro. Like the UK is not the safest. I don't think it's as dangerous as what you're describing America to be, just because of the simple fact that like I can pick, if I was in the States, I could just pick up a gun and shoot somebody in the head, which to me is wild. Like that's a reality. That's only something I can like think about. Do you know what I mean? But obviously you do have the substitute for that, which is knife crime, and knife crime in the UK is quite bad. Like I know people who have been victims of that. I know people who are on the other side, both ends of that kind of spectrum. So I think for me, especially being a young melanated man and growing up in the UK, in and around London, like the energy is just not good, man. And I feel like, especially again, me being a melanated man, not saying it's because I'm black, I'm not gonna pull that type of card, but like there's already a perception. Like I'll give you an example. I could go out and like wear a tracksuit, for example, and people automatically would look and perceive me in a certain way just because, oh, he's another black guy who's currently in London and he's wearing a night tech. He must be this type of individual. There is no, oh, let me not judge. People already just kind of have that prejudgment based off of like how you show up as yourself to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that for me, the safety element is from a different angle, but the same kind of effect in the sense where you've come from a place where it's not that safe and you have to be street smart. I've come from a place where it's also not the safest and I also have to be street smart. But I don't want to live my whole life having to look up over my shoulder, bro. Like that's not the life I simply want to live. No, in the UK, there is no one coming to rob me at a gas station, but there is certain areas that I'd have to like be, I'd have my headphones on, but the music would be off, and people think I'm listening to music, but I hear everything. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Or like I'm looking over my shoulder as I'm walking through certain shit, or like certain areas I just avoid because it's just more likely for there to be conflict in this area. Does that make sense? And I don't want to live a life like that. Everything you said, I agree with. Like being here in Thailand, there's not one point where I've been kind of like even though you should be, and I still do walk with street smarts because it's never gonna leave you if you've been brought up in a certain environment, but I don't have to use that. Does that make sense? I don't have to think with that survival mode mentality being here. I can think, okay, cool, it's chill. I can leave my laptop here, even though I probably won't because like my upbringing has taught me not to do that based being in the UK, but I know that I can. I know that I don't have to think in survival mode. So I think it's a lot more peaceful in your mind because you don't have to have that extra, oh shit, but let me always be on point just in case. Do you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that 100%, bro.
Yeah, man.
I safety, bro. Until your safety gets pressed, like you don't understand how valuable it really is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know there's a lot of people who probably in the UK or America and they do have to look over their shoulder, you know, every time they step out the house. And it's like, you know, what type of life is that?
Yeah.
Like, that's not cool. I don't want to have to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like walking home when the sun goes down and then it's like, is that guy following me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of girls who live out here who say that here they can walk alone at night or they can do anything and they don't have to worry about like creepy guys.
Yeah, see? Even little things like that. Just to interject, sorry, like we're not girls, so I can't speak for girls, but like just that mentality is automatically so different compared to the UK. Like I've got girlfriends, like female friends, and they would also, I got one specific friend in my head, I'm not gonna name her, but like she lives in East London, and I know that if it's late and she comes home from work late and she gets to the underground TfL station at like 9, she's always getting a taxi, even if it's like a 10-minute walk to her house. Like even if it's a 5-minute walk, she still always get taxi just because it's safer, because in her area, it is kind of like a bit, like you have to have that street smart. So because she's a girl, she doesn't even want to put herself through that. So she just takes a taxi. And like, imagine the financial toll that is. Like going, you could walk somewhere and every day you're getting taxi just for her safety. Like that wouldn't happen here, bro. So
yeah,
I agree,
and you know that taxis.
Yeah, weird sometimes as well, innit?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you, bro, on that piece. And then obviously like the financial part of being out here.
Yeah.
With it being, I don't want to say it's just cheap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to use that word.
I'd
like
say affordable.
Yes, exactly. You know, out here it's just everything's affordable. You know, I mean, you can actually enjoy your money. Because I feel like in America and the UK, you're always trying to make money that you never really get a chance to enjoy it.
So true.
And everything's so expensive that you can't really enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? If you're paying more than half of what you make, or you know what I'm saying, even 30-40% of what you make on just rent alone,
Just to live.
yeah, and then you got to pay almost another half that for your car payment. Like, bro, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to just survive.
You know what? That's so true, and I'm so happy you're saying this, because like you guys here watching us will like see the different perspectives from just coming from the West. You've come from the West, but from the States. I'm here from the UK, but it's the same thing, bro. Like I always say, and I used to say this to my friends before I moved out here. Yeah, the difference between living in the UK, for example, is like you work to survive, but not work to thrive or live. Do you know what I mean? So like here, you're a digital nomad. You go to your condo, you come here, you edit your videos, you make your money online, and you can go out and actually live, enjoy, and experience. But back home in the States, back home for me in the UK, I would be working a full-time job just for the end of the month, just to barely be above flow. And that's not even because of poor spending habits, etc. But that's just because the cost of living is so high for no reason that you can't even actually just breathe, brother. And before you know it, you stepped out the house and you already spent two bills, £200 or like $250 US, for example, on some bullshit just to get from A to B and just go throughout your day. So
yeah, it's not. That's not the way to live, bro.
Yeah,
that's not the way to live at all. And it's not even. It's not about like, you know, like, oh, I want to, like, out here you have the option to be like, all right, you know, I can hustle and I can try to make more money. Or it's like, you know, you could actually be like, well, maybe I'm comfortable where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have that option, because I know not everybody wants to, you know, try to make an M. You know what I'm saying? Some people are cool just, you know, with their family and, you know, basically just being where they're at.
Yeah.
And I feel like out here that gives you a real opportunity to, you know what I'm saying, stay cool where you're at.
Yeah.
And not have to be like consistently hustling,
Chasing.
like chasing after, you know, like a certain dollar amount, because that's the dollar amount that's going to get you to be
To
comfortable.
where you want to be. Yeah. It's a lower like barrier to entry to be comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so true. How hard? Talk to me about like what it was when you first left. Like, so I was recently on a podcast, guys. If you haven't checked that out, go to the Business Belts channel and watch that. There's an episode with Thomas that came out, and we were speaking and talking about the difference between, you know, your friends back at home and the mentality in the area you grew up in compared to the person you've developed into now, being a digital nomad and traveler, basically. How different are the mentalities that you now have based off of your new experiences compared to people like your friends from your hometown and stuff like that? Like, what's that like?
Man, it's almost like undescribable because it's like at home, you know, I don't have any kids. I don't really know if I want to have kids, when I want to have kids. And like, I have the ability to just like get up and go whenever I want.
Yeah.
Whenever, yeah, like freedom. Like to the point where I got freedom tatted right here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's
saying? Like I can leave whenever I want. But you know, the people back at home, bro, they have kids, they're married, you know what I'm saying? They work like a construction job or like a 9 to 5. Yeah, they all bought houses. Like it's just totally different, bro. Like for them, buying their first house was like a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But me, I've been like avoiding
Yeah.
even like looking at, you know what I'm saying, something to purchase. I don't know if I want to tie myself into like a mortgage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if I don't want to live here in a couple of years?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the mentality is totally different, bro. Totally different. Like literally two different lives, completely 100%, bro.
Yeah.
So it's hard to even compare. Yeah.
If you could go back, would you change anything about your journey?
It's so funny. I say this all the time, bro. So the only thing that I would have changed about my journey is I was day trading, and then I bought a couple semi trucks.
Semi trucks.
Yeah, I bought a couple semi trucks, but things didn't work out.
Yeah.
Mainly not because it didn't work, because like obviously there's money to be made in semi trucks because there's so many semi trucks on the road that like, you know, but I bought a couple semi trucks. I was totally unprepared. The person that I trusted, I shouldn't have trusted.
Yeah.
So I basically lost $100,000. Like, yeah, like I came out of pocket $100K and yeah, basically lost all that. So that's like the only thing I wouldn't have done, because I stopped trading to get into trucks.
Yeah.
Or like slowed down trading to get into trucks. And that was kind of like the only mistake I made. I learned that you should keep the main thing, like your main moneymaker, keep that your main moneymaker. Like don't try to do this thing where you go off and get like multiple sources of income. Like multiple sources of income is true, but you got to have one like moneymaker. And the multiple sources I'm starting to learn are just like investments that you don't really have to put too much time and effort into, because then it takes away from the main thing.
Yeah, the main goal.
Yeah.
That's a good piece of advice, you know, and I think that, cause obviously I'm younger than you, bro, and like a lot of my audience is in and around my age as well. And I feel like, especially the mentality in the West is where I need all these different hustles and side pieces of income and income streams, etc. But just hearing from your experience already, where you kind of cut off your supply line to try and create a new supply line and it didn't work. So now you had to double back and kind of frantically, well, I don't know your situation, but I would imagine that it was a lot more stressful because you're like, shit, this new venture's not working. I got to go back to the old venture, but I basically kind of closed it down, kind of. So now it's going to be harder to get things back up and running over here as well.
Yeah.
So that's a lesson within that, guys. So like, have your head on tight and just have like maybe a long-term goal, and don't kind of, not saying you were, because obviously I don't know your experience, but don't just chase opportunity all the time to the point where you might be green-eyed. Like if you've got something good going on, water that seed, nurture it. That's what I'm looking to say. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. That's what I was trying to get to. The grass isn't always greener on the other side, man. So yeah.
Definitely. I can definitely say that I was chasing the residual income idea. Like, you know, I was told that, you know, just invest here and then you'll make money.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll be a certain amount of money each month.
Yeah.
Per truck. And I'm like, all right, bet. So I do that, and then, you know, I'm just thinking that it's going to work out, but I shouldn't have cut off, like you said, my main supply. Like, keep the main thing, the main thing.
Yeah.
And If I wouldn't have did that, things would be totally different. You know, I might be a little further ahead than where
Yeah.
I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's all cool. That's the
Life
only
lesson.
Yeah, that's the only thing I look back and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
dang, got me.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you can only take L's because, like, you got to take chances.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you have to take risks
Yeah. That's
in
it.
order to get anywhere. Like, nobody made it anywhere playing safe.
Yeah. I don't even need to say no more. Nobody made it anywhere playing it safe, man. And this is what I preach about. You have to go out there and just take a risk, because at the end of the day, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you didn't go and take that risk, yeah, it didn't work out, but at least you got that life experience now and that lesson to look back and actually advise. And, you know, you've learned from, I'm not gonna say a mistake, you've learned from that lesson. Do you know what I mean? But if you didn't take that risk, maybe that situation taught you some things about yourself, about business, about life itself, trusting people, that if you didn't go through that, you wouldn't be the person you are now, and you would have made a similar mistake, and it could have been a lot more worse, could have been more money, more investment. So you needed to learn that and take that L at the end of the day, because you wouldn't be the Stacey right now. Do you know what I mean?
sure.
So that's what's up, man. But guys, this is what I wanted to do quickly. Just wanted to have a little insight into Stacey's life, what it was like being a digital nomad. As always, hit that subscribe button for more content, and I'm gonna see you in the next one, man. Whoosh.